Hi, welcome back to Nails and Yacht podcast. So today I'm joined by Olivia and we're here to chat all about creating community within the nail world and why it's so important. So hi, let me move that so I can see you. How are you? Thanks for joining me.
I'm good, thank you. Yes, I have been so busy this week trying to sort out all the cancellations because I feel like when it gets to the end of the summer holidays, everyone's trying to do their nails, especially because it's bank holiday. So it's been nice to come here and relax and not think about it.
Not think about clients. You can be the client for once.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like I never end up getting my nails done. I always just do them myself.
Everybody who's been on the podcast has said that. Literally everybody. When you can do it, like, why would you book an appointment? But then it's so nice sometimes to be the client, isn't it? And just not.
Definitely. Like, I always say if I ever do nails, they're always like, oh, I never treat myself this. And I'm like, you should. Like, why would you do it yourself? Like, it's just work. And then I'm like, oh, I just do it now.
Yeah, we're all hypocrites, aren't we? We're all like, I always find it with like boundaries. I'm like, have boundaries. And then I'll be like, well, till 10 p.m. and I'll be like, where are my boundaries? Like, if there's anything, I'm like, get your nails done, girl, treat yourself. Oh, yeah, when did I last book in?
Yeah, literally. It's like someone on TikTok the other day asked me to share my policies. And I shared them this morning and I was like, do I actually enforce these?
So today we are doing a build gel overlay. So I'm going to use the Angel in a pot. And the shade we're going with is Sublime, which is like a cute kind of deeper pinky mauvey colour. And then what are we doing after that? Are we doing nail art? Are we doing something simple? Where's your head at?
To be honest, I really don't mind. I absolutely love a clean girl mani, but I also love a bit of nail art. So anything you'd rather do. Sometimes when people come to me and they're like, oh, just do what you want. Sometimes at the end of the day, I'm like, something nice and plain, unless it's something I actually particularly wanted to do.
How do you feel about polka dots? Are you loving that trend or not?
I do love the polka dots.
What about, I saw Nails by Lindsay did a gorgeous polka dot set with like gold.
Yeah, that works.
It was like on top of the nude and it was like gold polka dots, which look cute. Or we could do like, are you a gold girl or is it more silver?
To be honest, I wear both. I know I've got a silver jewellery on right.
That's why I looked and I was like, what are you wearing?
I mix and match it, so all of my earrings are gold. And I do have quite a lot of gold rings, so either way, I'm not bothered. But I do love the polka dots. I've been telling everyone else to get them.
So today we're chatting about community, guidance, support, why it's so essential for nail techs, both sort of nail techs and educators, and how like educators are responsible for that as well. So let's roll the intro and we'll get chatting.
Yeah, perfect.
Welcome to Nails and Yap, the podcast where I do people's nails and we have a good old natter. I'm Laura, I'm a nail tech, and after years of hearing the funniest, deepest and most random chats, I thought, why not turn it into a podcast? Whether you're a fellow nail tech, a client who loves a good catch-up, or someone who's just nosy about the beauty world, you're in the right place.
So I would really like to chat today about community and why it matters so much within the nail world. Do you want to talk a little bit about your stance on that, sort of what community means to you, why you're so passionate about it?
Yes, definitely. So I find that I come from a background of always working in a salon, always working alongside people. We've always had our own little group and community to kind of like bounce ideas off of and like help each other out. And after talking to a lot of people in the nail industry who haven't had that before, I realised kind of how isolating that can be and how hard it can be to kind of grow and like survive and like build your business without it. And I feel like when you don't have someone to talk to, especially when people in the industry now say a lot of kind of like mean things, it's more like competition over community when it should be the other way around.
Yeah, there's been a real shift the last sort of year or so, hasn't there, about sort of people's attitudes towards each other in the industry, and everyone who comes on the podcast mentions it, and even if we don't talk about it on the podcast, we chat about it in the before bit and the after bit, and it's just such a big topic at the minute, isn't it, of like, I just feel like community is needed more than ever right now.
100%. Like, you see way too many nail techs and educators and people who are either new or like really long time in the industry. They only want to be the best and they don't want other people to do well. They want to be the only people that can do nails, the only people that can teach nails, and they kind of forget that the whole point is you want a community, you want friends in the industry, you don't want it to just be you. And the way they're going about it is just completely wrong.
I also think building friends is one of the best parts of this industry. Like, people will recommend you you know, you might have a quiet period and they're getting loads of requests from clients, and they'll say, oh, my books are full, but such body down the road does nails. And it's like, if you're just every man for themselves, you don't get those benefits. And not that that's why you should make friends and be nice to people, is to get benefits.
But still, and it's a two-way street as well.
Yeah.
I would do that to anyone, like even if it's not just males, like the beauty industry as a whole. If someone comes to me, and not just in our salon, but say they're like, well, I want lashes, I'd say, oh, like, this girl that I work with is really good at eyelashes. And then if she's busy, she'll be like, oh, but I actually know this girl who's really good at eyelashes. And I think that is just how it should be. It should never be me and only me. Like, you have to remember that there are literally thousands of people in the same industry. And if everyone's just trying to bat against each other, it's never going to work.
Yeah, also on that note, there's thousands of people in the industry, but there's also thousands, well, a lot more than thousands, but a lot of hands in the area. So like, there's no need to be so competitive and weird about it, because there's enough hands to go around, or eyelashes or eyebrows or whatever treatment it is you do, there's enough to go around.
I think people almost either have the mindset of, right, let's thrive in the industry, let's meet people along the way, let's make friends, let's help each other, or they go, right, this is me, and this is what I'm gonna do, and I don't think anyone else is doing anything as good as me. And there's definitely a clear divide.
It's become so much more noticed, which I think is why it's such a good topic to discuss on the podcast, because so many people are feeling the shift the past sort of few months.
Like, I've seen so many people, like, I've only actually recently started a TikTok, which is very controversial because everyone loves it. But yeah, as a nail tech on TikTok now, my obviously whole For You page is other nail techs. And more often than not, rather than someone trying to help or sharing their expertise or giving a hint or a tip, they're going, oh, this person's done this really badly, or oh, I don't think this should be done this way, or, you know, even sharing other people's work and like hating on it. The more I see that, the less I want to share my work, because what if someone does the same to me?
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a clear sort of correlation between people's work being pulled and critiqued publicly and people getting burnout on social media.
100%.
Again, I've chatted to so many people about this, and I think there is a clear correlation, because why would you want to expect, because social media is effort, like we said before, didn't we? It's so much effort and time goes into it. It's another job in itself. So to put all that effort in and be having to worry about, oh, it might get ripped apart by somebody in an unkind way rather than a constructive way, why would you put all the effort in? But then you need to, because you're trying to build your business and you've got goals of your own. You don't want to stop growing yourself for fear of what somebody else might do, but then it is still in the back of your mind, isn't it?
Exactly. It definitely does put that thought there, and trying to manage social media while trying to manage clients and while trying to like enhance your own skills, and like as an educator, like trying to help other people enhance their skills, like it is just the last thing you need, but you have to do it. And so when it becomes something that you A, don't want to do, B, absolutely hate doing because you've got this fear in the back of your mind, it just makes it 10 times worse, and that's how people start to hate their job.
There has been a rise in sort of burnout in the industry recently as well. Sort of a lot of my TikTok feed is other nail techs talking about how they are experiencing burnout and how they're not enjoying it as much anymore, and I do think it's linked.
No, 100%.
Definitely.
That is why having a community is so important, because if everyone's not hating on each other, everyone's helping, and if someone gives a tip or a hint, or like someone asks a question, don't gatekeep, because what's that going to get you? Like, I semi-understand, especially as like from an educator's point of view, people pay a lot of money for this knowledge and people spend years like building this knowledge, but to an extent, if someone asks you like, I don't know where you get your tips from or what builders I use and what, people are like replying and saying, well, if you buy my £100 course, I'll tell you. And it's like, that's not a community.
No, it's definitely not. I think there is a fine line, and as educators, I sort of spoke about this with Georgia when she was on talking about education as well. It's sort of finding that line, isn't it? Because you don't want to give away all your knowledge because you have worked hard for it, and you know that's your income at the end of the day. But at the same time, you want to be helpful and foster that community, and that was something we did chat about on that episode.
It's like I found a lot more people who I genuinely just want to help. Like, obviously buying my course and buying masterclasses is a nice bonus, but if someone needs help or support, I'm not going to be like, I'm only going to help you if you pay me. Like, as long as I've got the time to sit down and help, I will. And I feel like that is a big difference that I have noticed. Like, I've probably done better in my kind of educating side of my career from being that way than being like, well, I'll only tell you if you pay me.
Yeah.
I trust you more.
Don't gatekeep what bloody foils you're using.
No, exactly. And I think that is genuinely the biggest thing I've noticed recently. I don't love the Facebook groups because they claim community, they claim help, they claim support, and no one gives it. Everyone gatekeeps, everyone tries to keep things to themselves, they only want to like self-promote, and it is just not what is needed. Like we were saying, there's more than enough clients to go around, and if everyone has this kind of like hostile energy, no one's going to do well. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't help each other.
Especially with jobs like ours, where a lot of people are self-employed, you know, it's not a traditional workplace setup where you have got colleagues who you can go to and be like, hey, I forgot how to do this, can you tell me?
Yeah.
That's where community really comes in, and you know, even stuff like visiting events together and having like a local community is invaluable, because not only can you get advice from each other, but you can get that social side as well, which you don't always have, especially if you're not in a salon with a big team.
Like I was saying, I am really lucky that I have got that salon environment where we've all worked together for years. We've always supported each other. Like, we're friends aside from work. And it means anything new that people want to try, or say one of us goes on a course and like, oh, we need a model, we'll just do it on each other. Like, we have that kind of relationship where we're friends, but we're also like working together, and we're always going to support each other.
And that's also the best, because I suppose when I was thinking about kind of community and sort of competition, I was thinking about other like independent nail techs, but I love that you've managed to find that community within the same salon and not kind of being competitive with each other, because I imagine that would be a horrible environment. Like, it's probably more important than anything that within the same salon you support each other, right?
Yeah, 100%. And especially like you said with independent nail techs, I think if anything, it's even more important for those people, because if you're someone who is working mobile or working on your own in like a home salon or something like that, apart from the people you're going to meet online, you have no one else that's in the same sort of situation.
Yeah, so it's quite an isolating job role.
Exactly.
It can be.
So having that online community will literally change the entire concept of your work. I don't know how anyone could work from home or work independently and not have friends in the industry, because who are you going to like bounce ideas off of, or who you're going to catch up with? Like, you know, someone who understands what you're going through.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I remember even down, like, I went to the Horner event in January and I travelled down with Sasha and India, and just even the car journey down, and we were going, oh, have you tried that product? What do you think of that? Oh, that? Oh, well, I haven't found great retention for that. And you wouldn't get that information from a TikTok video, because no one's going to be as open like that, because no one wants to be seen to be like sort of slating a brand.
Exactly.
Whereas I find you can have those conversations a lot more honest product recommendations.
Yeah. Like, no matter how honest, I would use my hands, but I can't, but it's going to be like quote marks, how honest someone's going to be online, they're never going to be fully honest. But you're never going to turn around and be like, I think this brand is awful, or I think this product is awful, or I don't know why anyone would use this technique because blah blah blah, because it's just not how it is.
Yeah, I think you don't want to create a negative environment on your social channel. And I think also, for me personally, if I don't like a brand and don't get on with a brand, I'm not going to go on my page and slate that brand. I'm just not going to use that brand. I'm not going to talk positively about it, but I'm not going to slate it either. It's just going to bring drama, and I can't be bothered with it. How would you say community's played a role in your own journey then as a nail tech?
I think from, like I've mentioned, coming from quite a good community in our salon, I've never known any different. And it was only when I started doing the social media and talking to other nail techs that I realised kind of how horrible the nail industry can be if you don't have that community. Because especially when I was doing nails from my uni room, for example, I didn't have any other nail techs to talk to. I still had my salon at home, but not the day-to-day conversations of, oh, like this client's wants this, how would you do it, or how do you use this product, and just the little questions that when you've got a community to ask make a huge difference.
Those little questions are the kind of thing, like, you're not going to go to a masterclass to find out about that.
No.
you know, they are the little bits that if you were in a traditional workplace, you'd go, oh, what coffee does that customer like? Or how do I do this code on a spreadsheet? Not code, what are they called? Shot. It's been so long since I've been in an office.
I was going to say, I don't do that kind of stuff.
I don't know. What, oh my God. Formula.
Yeah.
What formula does this on a spreadsheet? And someone in the office would be like, oh, it's this. That's the kind of questions that as a nail tech, if you've not got that immediate community, that's what fostering your own community sort of digitally is perfect for, because you can say,
exactly,
what is that brand like? What's your retention code? Oh, I'm not getting good retention with this. Can anyone think why? And it's just valuable. It helps everybody, doesn't it? It's about having that support network that you just wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, 100%. I just could not imagine now working from home or working like mobile or something and not having that team of people, because it makes the job so much more fun. Like, obviously it's a really fun job anyway, it's very social, like love the relationships you have with your clients, but the relationships you have with other nail techs as well are just as important.
Honestly, so much more important, and I discussed it in one of the more recent episodes that I did with Sasha about events, because we actually had met at an event. And I'd kind of set it last year as a New Year's resolution to go to a nail event, because I was seeing them going on. I was always so jealous when I saw the pictures, and I was like, oh, look at everybody with like friends.
Yeah.
And I was still doing mobile, and yes, I was doing a Saturday in a salon, but me and the girls were like passing ships. Some of the other girls weren't in on a Saturday. The ones that were with clients all day. And, you know, yeah, we had each other to say, oh, I've run out of this colour, can I steal a bit of yours? But we didn't have each other in sort of that social sense.
Yeah.
And I was always so jealous when I saw people go to events. So last year I made it a priority to go to some, and I did, and it was the best thing I ever did. I just kicked myself for not doing it sooner, because finding a group of girls who were kind of on my wavelength, doing the same job, had the same loves and likes and dislikes, and even just funny stuff like, I know I've suggested it for today, polka dots, but the other day I put in a group chat with the girls like, does anyone else hate polka dots? And they were like, no, I was like, I just hate them. I was like, I don't know why they're a trend. I don't know, they're bugging me. I've done them on like 3 clients and they're just not my thing. And then India popped in and was like, I love them. I was like, great, you can have all my polka dot clients.
Yeah.
But
you know, we don't have to do polka dots today.
No, I actually did. Do you know what? I actually did put in the chat, I said, I really don't like them in general, but only ones that I've seen that I'm liked are the Nails by Lindsay ones that are in gold, because they look really classy and nice. But I was like, I just don't get the trend at all.
Yeah.
Then I'm not a polka dot girl. Like, I would never buy a polka dot cushion or dress.
Yeah,
or like,
no, I get
it's just
that.
not my pattern. Same with Paisley. I'm not a Paisley gal either. If that becomes trendy next year, I'll hit that and all.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like that, even just funny little things where you're like, can we just chat about this?
That's it. I feel like having the people to talk to literally makes the biggest difference. Like you said, even if it's so inconsequential or so like unnecessary, like you don't need to put it in a group chat of hundreds of people and get answers. You just want someone to like verify what you're thinking.
Just bounce off someone.
Yeah,
that's it, innit? Someone who gets it.
Yeah.
I feel like until you're in a job like this, you don't get it. Even if you're a client who've been coming for years, like, you have to do it to get it, and everyone who gets it, and you just have this shared interest.
It's like a if you know kind of situation.
1000%.
Like, unless you're a nail tech, you're not going to understand these like little things. Like, you know, if you want to say vent about a really annoying situation you had with a client, or about how you're working really long hours, like, you're not complaining. You can't say that to a client, because they're going to think you don't want to be there. But it's not that you don't want to be there. You like your job. You just want to vent about it.
Yeah, 1000%. And like, a lot of the time, like, partners at home, they don't really get it either. They sort of, you know, they can be like, oh, but first thing they're going to say is like, oh, why don't you just like not work a late night then if you're tired from it? And you're like, well,
it's just not how it works.
Because Katie needed her nails doing. She's got a big event tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I feel too guilty to say no, okay? I just want to moan about it. I don't want to have a solution right now.
I think my biggest pet peeve is when you say to someone, oh, I'm so tired after work. And they're like, oh, but you just sit down all day. And you're like, but it's not necessarily physically draining, but it is mentally draining.
It is mentally draining. My brain does not work after a full day with clients. I'm like, I'm so sorry to all my clients who are the final client of the day, because it's just waffle.
Yeah.
I can't even string a sentence together by the end of a full day.
I've had to really stop myself recently, because I found myself getting into a habit of like, someone will say something, it'll go in one ear, out the other, and I go, I say what they said again, and I'm like, oh, that was actually really important.
Yeah, sometimes you sort of zone out, which is why I'm quite glad. I actually haven't addressed this on the podcast. Yeah, I'm in a new space now, by the way. People have noticed the background's different. So I moved salon recently, which has been quite an adjustment because I've gone from being in like a noisier, busier salon to a more kind of private studio. And some days have been so quiet that I've been like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm I'm not sure how to feel about this. Really different. But then at the same time, like being in a busy studio, sometimes your ear will prick up. You'll hear something, and then I feel so guilty because I think, I have no idea what you just said to me. And then it's, can I rescue this, or do I have to just come clean and say,
if I'm really sorry, what did you say? Or do I just like, I'm so sorry, I wasn't listening?
I feel like I just can't sometimes, you can't get away with it sometimes. You have to be like, sorry, can you just say that again for me?
Yeah, sorry, I kind of zoned out.
I was really concentrating on your nails.
Yeah.
So can you just tell me
I was so invested in your nails that I didn't listen to you.
It wasn't their really interesting conversation on that, I promise.
Sometimes we'll get like some good gossip, like I'll hear someone saying some good gossip to like one of the other nail techs, and in my head I'm like, I really need to know what this gossip is.
Yeah, I want to zone into that chat. We had it the other day actually. It was one of the first times like me and the other girl here have worked side by side together, which I think will be really rare anyway because she doesn't really do nails anymore. She had her client in and they were chatting, and then me and my client were chatting about like engagement rings, and she was telling me about how she didn't like her engagement ring at first and she actually swapped it. I was like, oh, how did he react to that and stuff? And then one of the other girls who was in sort of perked up and said, she said, I spoke to her about it afterwards, and she was like, I knew it was fine to dive in because my client also was listening. And she was like, we were both being like, that conversation's interesting. So they both were like, and then one of them was like, I had that happen to me, and then it became like a big four-way conversation, which was really funny and like good. But it was funny because she was like, I didn't want to be that person that was like ignoring my client for a more interesting conversation, but at the same time, as soon as you knew it, she was like, once I knew she was locked in, I knew it was safe to dive in. Obviously we've talked a little bit about community, but how would you say, like, how should community look in our industry?
I think, to be honest, it should be, as we've touched upon, everyone helping everyone. Obviously there is an extent, like we said, but as far as you're able to, don't gatekeep, don't try and be the only one who's good at what you do, don't try and put others down, just be there for one another when, not even just when necessary, just whenever you can. Whenever I've got the time, will do my best to go on social media, try and help. I answer any messages of people asking for advice, I will answer anything I see in group chats. And it is hard because obviously it is a full-time job alongside actually doing the nails for clients. But just try and be as present and there for people as you can without making them feel like a nuisance.
Yeah, so sort of fostering community yourself, and then you'll sort of reap what you sow a little bit. Yes,
100%. Like, I would hate to think, and I've asked a couple of questions in group chats in the past and not really gotten amazing answers, or I've messaged nail techs who I look up to and been like, oh my god, I absolutely love this set, like how did you do this? Because it's not something I've ever seen before, and either got ignored or just like fobbed off to a masterclass or just given no real support. And that's just something that I, from being like a beginner in the industry, promised I would never do to someone else.
Yeah, you sort of really want to be that person who is giving back to the community.
Yes, 100%. Like, I run a group called the Nail Desk, which is like a community group, and I must admit I'm not very active on there anymore because I am way too busy doing everything else, and that's why it comes down to the kind of time side of things. But whenever possible, I always contribute. Like, I feel like people contribute themselves now, like someone asks something and the other nail techs will jump in and help out. I always just wanted there to be like a safe space for people, that if they had a question or if they wanted some advice, they just weren't going to be judged in the process.
Yeah, I think support networks is a really good one. I'd also say sort of like finding your peers.
Yes.
So, you know, attend events and reach out to nail techs that you admire, and you never know, you might make friends with them, and then you've suddenly got a group around you who are supportive, and you've found those people, especially if they're local. I think finding local people is great.
I always think you've got nothing to lose either.
Yeah, not that diaries line up often, but if and when they do, you can then get out for coffee with them and sort of step away from the nail desk as well and have support that way. I'd say also, people like yourself, educators, that's a really good way to sort of have community in terms of, like, if you're a beginner and you're looking for guidance, like having that mentorship of an educator is second to none as well.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one thing that I have really focused on with my training courses. So I am an educator for Hona, so I didn't design my courses myself. I teach like their system. And as a part of the courses, anyone who enrolls, I make a really firm effort that once they've learned the skills that they need, they don't just then walk away. I don't let them leave and be like, okay, you do you. I make a real effort to, while they're there, I help them with like photography tips so they can start doing their marketing, social media. That's
such a good one, and so many courses don't touch on that. And
yes.
How can you be a modern nail tech and not know how to do
there's
that?
no other way to gain clients really. Like obviously there's word of mouth, but how do you get those initial clients? It's all social media.
Yeah, even if it's like you going old school and doing flyers, like what photos are you putting on the flyers? Like you still need to have those skills anyway.
Portfolio, and if that portfolio isn't high quality and doesn't showcase your skills, people aren't going to come to you. And I think that's why I put such an emphasis on that, as well as the kind of business and mindset and how to set up your business or how to market your business and trying to make a work-life balance. Like all of it is things that aren't spoken about enough in the nail industry.
And I think all of those things that you touched on are so important for not only the growth of your business, but like wellness and mindfulness as well as a person, not just a nail tech.
Yes, 100%. Because if you are, we spoke about burnout earlier, if you are constantly trying to juggle doing clients and trying to market your business and do all the financial side of things and plan for the future and just absolutely everything, your mind will be fried, and that is where burnout can really take its toll. And I think if you've got that community to turn to, it will kind of minimize those effects.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes when you're in it as a sort of one woman, most of us are women I think who listen to this podcast, but one person band, you can't always see it for yourself either, and sometimes I think it does take popping a message in a group to be like, how would you handle this client interaction, and other people will step in and say, you're getting walked all over here, you need to stand up yourself more. And I think even things like that, you can't always tell yourself, and it really does help to prevent burnout in that way as well.
That's it. I feel like having the community is like a whole other perspective from hundreds of other people, and if it's something that you've not seen, like you said about if you don't know if a client's kind of walking over you or if you feel like you handled the situation wrongly, having that community to talk to can give you a different perspective, like B, a way to go around it that you might not even have thought about and will help resolve the situation, and just generally help you like mentally rather than have to do it all on your own. Having that support system makes everything 10 times easier.
So is there anything you wish you'd been taught from your initial course or when you were sort of starting out as a beginner?
I think like definitely more than just the basics. So I know a lot of people talk about needing more than the basics and more just the foundations, but not as many people talk about what that actually means. And I think for me especially, even though I'm kind of an anomaly because I went into my beginner's course already knowing what to do because I'd worked in the salon for years beforehand. And I think if I didn't already know what to do, I'd have come out of that course absolutely mind blown. I would have had no idea where to begin. I'd have been only taught kind of, right, you paint the nail this way, not what happens if someone's got a split or what happens if there's some lifting or kind of troubleshooting. It was the basics that they could have done to get away with taking the money and then sending you anyway.
Yeah.
And I think not having the kind of, not even advanced skills, it's just what should be classified as basic but isn't, really would have been detrimental in my journey. And it makes me sad to think that people are going to courses, paying a lot of money, thinking they're going to leave with all of this knowledge and skills to go and set up and run their business and being left with the bare minimum.
We all start out with a big dream, like starry-eyed, and it's so disappointing because I had that exact experience where I came away from a course and it just wasn't up to scratch, and then I've had to go on and do a lot more learning myself. But how much better would it have been if I had someone to sort of guide and support me in that? I think I would have got to a better standard a lot quicker.
Yes, 100%. And I think that is definitely the gap in the market at the moment. Like, there are definitely, for example, like the Hona courses that I teach, their skills and their doing your nails are amazing. Like, they teach you absolutely everything, like from really in-depth like anatomy and physiology. They do a lot on like allergy awareness and prevention and all of the things that I definitely wasn't taught in my beginner's course.
Yeah, I had no idea you could get a nail allergy after my course.
Exactly, like all of it was just, this is just enough to say I can qualify you. And that is where the mindset should shift. It should be, I'm going to teach you absolutely everything you need to know to not only do nails, but how to set up your business and market it and do all of your finances and what type of business you need and how to kind of deal with rough patches or anything like that that people just don't even think about until they get to it. You should be leaving that course not only equipped to do a set of nails, but everything alongside.
Yeah, because it's all well and good knowing how to do the set of nails, but if you have got no business knowledge and none of the extra factors that you just touched upon, you're not going to excel. And you know, there's some really skilled nail techs out there that probably are nowhere near where they could be if they'd have just had that support. What would you like to see with courses, especially beginner courses, in like the industry as a whole?
I think definitely adding that community aspect and business and mindset kind of mentoring, because especially it's something that I've always done, and I actually have spoken to a few educators recently who now do similar, either after our conversation or who have kind of also recognised this gap. But I think when a nail tech is leaving their beginner's course, it should be, okay, so I'm gonna add you into this community group. This is where you ask any questions, you can message me, everyone else will help you. That it gives that kind of realization that they're not on their own. They don't have to do it on their own. They can maximize their potential and thrive in the industry as a part of something. And I think also having the business and mindset coaching enables them to do that without having the burnout and without having the worries and the what if I don't get clients and what if this, what if that. Because at some point, everyone who has done nails and done a beginner's course before this has been implemented has been in the same position. Everyone's been there, everyone's done that, everyone knows how hard it is. So knowing that you're not the only one will definitely help in their journey.
You know what, when you were saying that, I was just thinking, how cool would it be to have like a buddy system? Where it's like, can you imagine like, if you could set up like a day where people who've been in the industry a lot longer could kind of sign up as a mentor, and then people who are newer or like, you know, coming back to it after a while or lacking confidence could sign up as a mentee, and then you pair people up and then like speed dating, you could find your like mentor, and then like over a few months you could like kind of work together and get the support you need. Oh my god, you can have it. I have that time.
I have actually seen, so I do one-to-one calls and also one-to-one masterclasses for people who are already qualified. The masterclasses are like touch up physical skills, and then the calls are more so like, you know, if someone says, I can do nails really well, but I have no idea how to market them or this or that, and I do help in that aspect, but obviously I can only reach a certain amount of people at a time doing that. And if there was more people in the industry able to give that support and mentoring, it would definitely help everyone on their journeys.
There was something I saw recently on TikTok. It wasn't related to nails at all, but it was saying how everybody wants to have a village, but no one wants the inconvenience of being the person that helps create it. And it's saying, you know, everybody wants to have a support system around them, but then people don't want to be inconvenienced by kind of dropping someone off at the airport or going on a night out for someone's birthday when they can't be bothered. And it was saying, you know, if we want to have a community, we've also got to put into it. And I think that really,
it's not a one-way system, it's give and take.
So are you ready for a nightmare from the nail desk? Are you ready for your agony aunt?
Yes, I am. I'm ready.
Fabulous. I've got one here. Let's have it. So, Hi, I recently upgraded my nail desk setup and invested in loads of new products, but now one of my regular clients keeps commenting that my prices shouldn't change just because I bought fancier stuff. She even joked that I was showing off with my new lamp. I feel embarrassed when she says it in front of other clients, even though I know that investing in my business is a good thing. How do you stop feeling guilty for wanting to level up?
I would say it is so important to charge your worth in the nail industry. I think there has been a long line of cheap nails and lower quality nails, and somehow clients have almost got used to that. And when you are trying to better yourself for them, like it's for no one else other than making sure your work is perfect for your clients and for the work you're producing to be the highest quality possible, you shouldn't feel guilty for trying to do something nice and something to make their set even better. And if they want something cheaper with something lower quality, like a lesser lamp and things like that, then they should go to someone else who is cheaper.
Yeah, there's plenty of non-standard salons around that can provide a worse service, but if you ultimately want a private nail tech with good skills and a good service, they're going to need to provide professional products, and unfortunately they cost money, and the cost of the service should reflect that.
Exactly, like it's definitely not a one price fits all. If someone can't afford a more luxury set of nails, that is absolutely fine, but you can't go to a luxury nail tech expecting the luxury service for a non-luxury price.
And if you can, you should really question your morals, because your private nail tech is probably not earning minimum wage and probably struggling to pay their bills, and you should feel bad about that, not buzzing about it.
If that one client is being arsey or making you feel lesser or making your life more difficult, you don't need them. You have just said that all of the other clients have not said anything. It's just this one client. So know that by losing that one client that you don't need, you are still going to be earning more with your price increase from all of the clients that are going to stay.
She's probably just really worried that she's had, like you said, cheaper nails for years and they're going to go up. She's seen all these improvements. She's not seeing, oh, she's got a better lamp that's going to make my set better. She's not seeing, oh, you know, she might be giving me a drink with every service. Or she's not thinking, oh, that's better. She's thinking, oh, I'm about to have to pay more here.
Yeah.
That's fine, you're not the nail tech for her anymore, but in no other job would you constantly stay the same wage and never have a pay rise.
No.
When your skills are improving, when the environment's improving, you know, everything's getting better, including your skills. There's no other job where that wouldn't give you a pay rise, so why shouldn't you have one?
Even things like food. So you'll go out to eat, and for example, where did I go the other weekend? Nando's have gone so expensive.
Yes,
and there's no reason, because I don't think they're paying them anymore. I don't think the food has necessarily changed in quality, but you still pay it because it's Nando's. So why wouldn't you pay someone who is working really hard to invest in themselves and provide a really high quality luxury service? Why is it them that you're picking on, not the kind of chains?
Yeah, very good point. I think, people will always find money in the budget for, like you say, a Nando's or to get that Starbucks coffee or for whatever it may be. You putting your prices up by potentially, £2, £3 per service in order to have a high quality lamp that's going to reduce allergies, that's going to help retention, for you to kind of have professional products.
Yeah.
It's going to be £2. Like, people will pay it. Apart from this one woman. So
exactly.
Bin her off.
She would probably realise as well, after you've tried her as a client, is that you have made all these improvements and she's gone, okay, I don't want to come anymore. If she'd have come, she'd have realised that she's actually, for £2 or £3 more, probably getting a few more days out of her set because of the better quality and not having to come as often. So probably in the long run, even saving money. But rather than thinking about that, they're choosing to be an awkward person.
I also feel like someone who's going to call you out on that, you're clearly trying to better your business, better yourself, improve your skills as a nail tech, improve everything. The fact she's willing to call you out on it and kind of wants to keep you down a bit just so she has cheaper nails. She's not someone who's supporting you. She's not someone who wants to see you grow and flourish and is cheering you on from the sideline. She is someone who's just there to get cheap set nails, so she's going to have to find it elsewhere.
That's it. It's not the kind of client you want, and that is the best advice. Get rid and find someone who will be happy to pay for that.
Do you know what? There's so many of these dilemmas where our advice is just
get rid.
Just get rid of them. Just fire clients. I feel like anyone listening to the podcast is going to be like, do you have any advice other than fire? But it's so true. I think in the industry, you've got to learn sometimes when you know, there might be difficult situations where you can come back from it, but there's a lot where it's like, that person's just a bit of a knob, and you just don't need them in your life. It's not worth the hassle.
You have to value your time. Like,
Exactly.
you can't be spending an hour and a half, 2 hours with a client that you A, don't enjoy being around, B, you feel uncomfortable around, and C, you're putting you down. Like, it is not worth it.
That's not going to help you grow and thrive, is it?
No.
So yeah, bin her off.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, thank you very much for joining me. I think we've covered everything there, really.
Yeah, I think we did really well.
I think we've covered a lot there. So I'd say key takeaways: education needs to improve and include more aftercare.
It shouldn't just be the basics. It needs to be absolutely everything. I think definitely make sure there's a community, not a competition, because it's helping nobody. It's not even helping yourself.
And also, I think, find some mates. It's really fun to go to events with people who get it. So it's fun to have community and to be a girl's girl, or, well, there's boys in the industry as well. Be a generally good egg. It's good fun. And being someone who's negative, well, it will never pay off in the long run, like you said. So
exactly.
Thank you so much for coming on. Let's
pleasure.
have a little look at your nails. I will get a closer up video, but if you just want to show the camera a little bit. So I have used the Nails by Cody metallic gel pen in gold. I really like this one because I find some gold pens, I don't know if you find this, show up with a green tinge.
Yeah.
I think they're almost trying to counteract not making it too like yellowy, so then it goes the other way, whereas this one is just gold. I really like it. So we've gone with the, I think I said at the start, Nail Orders in gel in a pot in the shade Sublime, which can show up really mauvey on some people, but on you it looks just a nice pinky colour. So if anyone would like to find you, follow you, see where you're up to, join your community, where can they do that?
So the best place is probably Instagram. Like I said, I have joined TikTok, but I'm not very good at it, to be honest. I'm getting there. So my Instagram is Olivia Annice Nail Artist. Really funny story in relation to that. Someone actually asked me once what that stood for, and I was like, oh, it's just my middle name. And they said they'd been reading it as Olivia Annice Nail Artist. And I was like, oh my god, I'm going to have to change my entire brand.
A nice nail artist.
I was like, no.
Do you know, it's not bad branding to have. At least it wasn't like Olivia shit nail artist.
Yeah,
like, at least it's like, I'm a nice person.
And I was like, you know what, if people are going to remember my username because of that, that is fine. So Olivia Annice Nail Artist on all social media, and also if you wanted to join the community group or have a look at the kind of business mindset mentoring that we spoke about, it is on my Instagram link.
Perfect. Thanks again for joining me. It's been great to catch up.
Yes, it's been really lovely.
Bye.